Hello, and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup, where we're going to cover the games that took place in the LPL and LCK this morning, a bit of news, and preview tomorrow's schedule in the LPL, LCK, and LCS. If you did not watch yesterday's video in its entirety and skipped the part where I went over my LCS plans, just to recap, LCS games will be on the next day's roundup, which could honestly come out during the next day's LCS games. That's just the way it goes. I'm not going to be uploading videos at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night when LPL, LCK occurs 2 hours later. LCS schedule is an abomination, so it is what it is. The news, KT have their coach suspended, Hire, or however it's pronounced. He is suspended for 2 weeks. He received a fine of what was equivalent to about 1.5 thousand USD. I think it is in conjunction with the aiming issue from last week when he picked Static Shiv up when he wasn't supposed to and it caused a pause and everything. I think it is as a result of that because they went under unsportsmanlike conduct. That's the only inference we can make. There's not a lot of information out there about it. In his place, Supreme will be, I assume, the coach. Supreme has been around for a long time, even with incredible miracles, almost 10 years ago, if not 10 years ago. He's 70 and 74 over his career, credited on Leaguepedia with being with teams at least in the 4 major regions, regular season play. And with KT is 37 and 35. So KT for the next 4 series will have the assistant coach coaching. New predictions: 43 and 12. I went 5 and 0 so far today. We'll see how the LCS does. It is day 1 of the LCS. For members, LCS predictions. I went over this yesterday. LCS predictions are post only, really, because I'm not going to give you the predictions for tonight's LCS game. Tomorrow's LCS games without watching tonight's. So you'll get those in a post either later on tonight or tomorrow morning before I go to work. Recap: LPL, Weibo, LGD. Weibo 7th in the power rankings, go to 3 and 2 as they 2-0 LGD, who dropped to 0 and 6. Light was my MVP, going 12-1-7, 27% of damage. The Shy went deathless in top lane, 3-0-3. Envy 3-6-3, 28% of damage, leading the way for LGD. So, LGD actually came out firing in this one. They had a massive gold lead. I want to say 8K at one point and then threw in game 1. We do have, I know Jerb watches these videos, listens to them. They are one of the biggest LGD supporters. They are the one that voted LGD to be in the top 25 power rankings. They looked good in game 1. Hai Chow was impactful. However, it didn't matter because in team fights they just blew it as Light took control, got in everybody's face. He and Zhao making things happen. Wei just kind of in the way, if you will, pun intended. And then in game 2, Weibo just blew him out. It wasn't nearly as close. LGD never had an advantage. Light winning his matchup early game in the bot lane, getting ahead. And, LGD really didn't have an answer. Crisp was getting after them as well. It was kind of one of those things where, hey, game, kind of like how JDG treated LGD last week. You take your, you disrespect them, if you will. You don't expect them to do well into you, and hell, they might take a game, and they almost did. Hai Chow has started to improve as he plays more games. I still think the top lane is not great. Decade, in his debut for LGD, got solo killed by the Shy, which, in most cases you would say, well, it's the Shy, but he has not been a world beater for a while, so it is what it is. IG, EDG, IG 1 and 4, EDG 12th in the power rankings, moved to 2 and 3 in a 2-1 win. Ale was my MVP. Uzi 10-9-20, 35% of damage in his debut for EDG. JJ 11-7-22 in the jungle. When in his LPL debut went 16-12-12, dealing a team-leading 28% of damage for IG. So, Wen actually So in the Discord, we were talking about this, and I troll a bit on the Discord from time to time. Wen actually looked solid today in games 1 and 3. Game 2 was an ugly laning phase. He found a way to impact the game where Ale fell off a cliff. Ale still gets MVP though, because in game 2 he was what kept EDG in it, if they were in it at all. And in game 1 on his Fiora really was good in team fights. And I thought in game 3 on the Scion was solid and okay, kind of on an island. But Wen specifically, I think he got solo killed 4 times in game 2, playing Gangplank into Ale's Aatrox. First one was a trade as Wen tried to dive Ale, but then afterwards Ale just kind of beat the crap out of him, ended up horizoning him. Although Wen still ends up with, I think, 14 kills at the end of that game. Both top laners died like 7 times. It was quite a game. It was well over a kill per minute. And that's what's funny about it. Like, it was well over a kill per minute, but Uzi only had 10 kills, right? I thought in game 3, JJ probably was MVP individually of that game. The Elise going down in bot lane, getting a couple kills, getting the bot lane ahead, and they were able to continue on after that. I thought An and Wink were a bit outclassed. As Uzi and Mako seem to have a decent amount of chemistry already. Obviously, they've played League of Legends for a very long time, and I'm sure they have played many solo queue games with each other, and who knows, in-houses and things like that. They've probably played together before. Really, Bashang, or Bashang, it is Bashang, or Bashang, regardless. Mixed. They gave him a Kindred one game. I didn't really like that. I think they gave him a Poppy in another one, and that was better. I see him as a facilitator. That's how he played with Team Wii last year. Obviously, Team Wii was a disaster, so maybe they just gave him the champions he shouldn't have been playing. But at the same time, I thought, he dealt a good amount of damage today, DPM-wise, but Tianzin probably should be playing. In terms of Cryin and Fofo, I thought Cryin outplayed Fofo despite losing. His Annie was very good. Fofo got K'Sante twice, and I'm not a big K'Sante mid fan, so I guess that kind of soured things for me. But in terms of Ale being MVP, just circling back, I thought in team fights, his Fiora found ways to get things done in game 1 to give them a win. Game 2, he absolutely gapped Wen in lane, despite in the mid to late game falling off a cliff. And then in game 3 on the Scion, he did his job. He and Wen going even, which is another big thing. I thought Wen looked good in 2 of the 3 games in laning phase. I mean, game 2 being awful, but 1 and 3, he was right alongside Ale. Finally, FPX and Top. FPX fall to 1 and 4 as Top, 4th in the power rankings, go to 5 and 1 with a 2-0 win. Tian was my MVP. Jackie Love 8-11, 36% of damage. Mark 2-1-19 alongside him. So the bot lane 10, 3, and 30. Zhao Lahu 1-7-3, 29% of damage in the loss for FPX. Top Esports just beat them in every which way. Bonnie did not look great in this one. I want to see more of him, however, because I think I've seen plenty of Hacker and I'm not a fan. Wayward in game 2 was probably the MVP individually of that game. His Malphite was being played like a Tristana. If you get that joke, you will understand what I mean. He did feel like he was trying to carry that game on the Malphite. He looked excellent. But game 1 wasn't as impactful as Tian was. And I thought Jackie Love kind of took over the game after it was already won. And then he just started doing Zeri things. And I'm not overly impressed by doing Zeri things after the game's already over. In game 2, Top's bot lane did they, I think in game 2 they might have gotten 2v2 killed once, which also doesn't help things. Like, Top's bot lane should not be getting 2v2 killed by FPX. Wayward solo killed Jala, who in game 2 though, in top lane. Mid lane, Care, like last time, Care's trying to do his best into Rookie. I mean, Rookie is finding a way to do more than Care, but I mean, what do you expect out of a young player like that? It was a one-sided affair. I expected a 2-0. I predicted a 2-1. Forget why I predicted a 2-1. I think I just didn't think Top was going to be clean enough, but they were clean today. One of their better series. LCK, HLE, DRX, HLE 11th in the power rankings, go to 1 and 2 with a 2-0 win over DRX, who are 0 and 3. Life was my MVP. I thought his did he play Blitz in game 1 and then Nautilus game 2? Regardless, the hooks were on point. Really put Paddock in the grave. Zeka 8-0-12, 30% of damage for HLE in mid. Kingen 4-0-10. So the solo lanes of HLE went 12-0-22. Paddock 2-9-0, 33% of damage for DRX. I was thinking about this when I was writing it on the board. So the rookies of DRX, Kiahu and Paddock. I'm not getting the vibe I got from Bulldog last split in terms of a young rookie in a bad situation. I felt like Bulldog had more positives to look at, like in terms of as a viewer, like you're seeing things that you like. And I feel like I have seen some things of Paddock, but today he was awful. He was a magnet for the hooks. Life just putting him behind by so much. I mean, it got to a point where it was just like, this is over relatively early. Game 2 was a bit closer, but then, Life was able to find moments to be impactful, find good hooks in team fights, and do his job. And I felt like Zeka got picked off a couple times. Well, not picked off, he didn't die. But not as like... So like... Once, like I said with Jackie Love, once the game's already like pretty much won, what you're doing, unless you get like a pentakill, which is impressive, I'm not like impressed really. I'm like, okay, this game's over. Okay, you're winning and dominating a team fight with an 8k gold lead, like whatever, So Zeka did solo kill Kiahu in mid, give him his credit for that. It's just he did it once where Life and Viper literally put Paddock and Barrel in a grave. Not only that, I believe, was it this series? One of these series, shoot, I forgot which one it was. It might have been this one where Barrel outdamaged Paddock. No, because Paddock led the team. Maybe it's this one, KDF. There's a support that outdamaged an 80 carry today, and not a great look when that happens. I think it was this one. Gen G, third in the power rankings, go to 3-0, winning 2-0 against KDF, who are 17th. They're 2-1 now. Pays 14-3-9, 39% of damage, was MVP. Delight 0-1-24, so the bot lane went 14-4 and 33. Doodoo 6-4-6, 25% of damage for KDF. Once again, doing well in a loss. He played Poppy both games. Game 1, getting like 5 kills on the Poppy. Once again, leading the team in damage on Poppy. It's just like a really weird timeline we're in that Poppy is dealing so much damage. Even Scion dealt a ton of damage for EDG in the game that Ale played it. Like, just weird how the itemization's allowing this to happen. So Pays got his nose in there in team fights and dealt a ton of damage, which is why he had 39% and why he got MVP. Chovy was kind of doing his thing into Bulldog winning the matchup. Doran not winning his matchup into Doodoo. So, in the end, it was the bot lane that made the difference. Taeyun and June, like I said, I believe June outdamaged Taeyun. That's not a good look. Laning phase of game 1, they kept up, but in terms of the entire series, if you're not dealing damage as an 80 carry, that's bad because your team's giving you a ton of gold, giving you a ton of resources, and you're doing nothing with it. Just wanted more. I thought Gen G would win this one 2-1. I thought it'd be closer, and it just simply wasn't the case. It's like I said, a little disappointing because KDF won last time. So you'd like them to be competitive, and it just really wasn't. Sneak peek for tomorrow. LCK T1 Sandbox, T1 5th in the power rankings, 1-1 coming off of a loss to Gen G. Sandbox 25th, 1-1 coming off of a win against Nongshim. Last time they played in spring, T1 would win 2-0. All the players remain the same, so the matchup we're highlighting is the jungle. Owner 13-7, 14, 15% in the win. Willer 7-6-11, 16%, so both junglers going positive in the KDA, similar damage share. OK Bro are 0-2, coming off a loss to the Freaks against D+, who are 6th in the power rankings, 2-0, coming off of a win against DRX. Last time they played, D+ won 2-1. There are some roster things to make note of. Yesterday I went over how Bro have swapped out mid and support. Karis and Effort were benched, and Ivory and Palu are going to play tomorrow. In terms of D+, Deft was, Deft has COVID. So I don't know if Deft is going to play remotely or if he's got symptoms and he's not playing at all, which would give Rahel finally an opportunity to play. Rahel has deserved an opportunity for a long time. This would be a big deal if Rahel could come out and play, because Rahel has been ready longer than Pays was ready. An opportunity to throw that in there. I didn't expect to get that chance today. So I'm comparing top jungle because I don't know if Deft is going to play. From the last time they played, Kana Canyon went 17-13-47 for 777 DPM, which was 34%. Morgan Umpty went 14-21-20, 555 DPM for 36%. So the top side of the rift, both around 35%. But Kana Canyon not dying nearly as much as Morgan and Umpty. LPL, we have Rare Atom LNG, Rare Atom 2-2 coming off of a win against LGD. LNG 3-2, 8th in the power rankings, coming off of a win against FPX. Last time they played in spring, LNG would win 2-0. Roster changes from that one. Rare Atom now have Zhaozhu in top lane instead of Cube, and Feather instead of Southwind at support. LNG have Gala instead of LP at 80 carry, so the only spots that remain the same are jungle mid. Tarzan Scout in the win went 26-5-42 for 1,450 DPM, resulting in 53% of LNG's damage in that win. Layan and Strive went 11-15-21, 1,149 DPM, 39%. So not only 300 DPM less, which would result in less, might result in less share, but 14% is a big deal. Like, that's a big difference, as Rare Atom, the majority of their damage came elsewhere from top and bot, where LNG, it was the mid-jungle duo. So it's going to be real interesting to see if things change, because a lot of those roles have changed outside of that matchup. After that, we have JDG, Anyone's Legend. JDG first in the power rankings, 5-1, coming off of a win against RNG. Anyone's Legend 1-4, coming off of a loss to BLG. Last time they played, JDG would win 2-0. Roster changes from the last time they played. Anyone's Legend have Harder in mid lane, GQ Yi at 80 carry, and Zora at support. So those are different players. So we're going to compare top jungle. 369 Kanavi in the win went 6-2-21 for 1,020 DPM, 44%. ZDZ Zhaohao did not do very well. They went 0-10-1, 481 DPM, 36%. So yeah, there's a difference of 10% of the damage share. The KDA is very different, and the DPM is massive. I mean, 369 Kanavi have almost 250% more damage in terms of a per minute basis. So that was a big blowout on the top side of the rift, and it's not a shocker. But at the same time, Anyone's Legend does have a lot of different players, so I mean, I'm not going to say that JDG should watch their back, but Anyone's Legend are a lot different than they were last time they played them. Thunder Talk BLG. Thunder Talk 1-4, coming off of a loss to Ultra Prime. BLG second in the power rankings, 5-0, coming off of a win against Anyone's Legend. Last time they played, BLG would win 2-0. Changes with roster. So, Thunder Talk are starting Zhao Halgren. I don't know. We're going to listen tomorrow for a bit of the cast. No offense to casters. I don't like listening to casters a lot. I prefer co-streams. But I don't know how to pronounce that player's name. So we're going to figure it out for the jungle for Thunder Talk, because Bechuan's benched. And then 1XN is playing over Wanfeng. So we're going to compare top mid support. Bin Yagao An went 10-10-37, 1,173 DPM. That was 52% of BLG's damage in the 2-0 win. Hoya, Yucal, Yao Yao went 5, 15, 12, 998 DPM, 56%. So 200 DPM more for BLG. Similar impact, around 55%. You know, BLG are the better team. Thunder Talk have made some changes. Zhao Haogren, I think was like a rank 1 Korean, server solo queue player for a long time. He's very young. He's been highly touted. Have read some contract issues. So he's finally playing, which is good. I am a Bechuan fan, but Bechuan has not stepped it up this split, so it's time for this to happen. LCS, Dig C9, start us off tomorrow. C9 15th in the power rankings, won the last time these two teams played. Roster changes, Dig now have Rich in top lane and Diamond at support. So Blabber, Eminez, Berserker went 6-5-18, 1,463 DPM, resulting in 59% of C9's damage in the win. Santorin, Jensen, Tomo went 9-6-9, out DPMing C9 with 1,770 DPM, so 300 more DPM on the losing side of things out of the carries and jungler, but 77% of their damage came this way. So C9 won through top, made a difference in top lane essentially the last time they played. TSM FlyQuest 16th in the power rankings, won the last time these two teams played. Roster changes, TSM have Ruby in mid, and FlyQuest have Vulcan at support. Those are the changes. The last time they played, Haunter actually played in that one. So Impact, Speak Up Prince went 10-1-10, 1,120 DPM for 61%. Haunter, Boogie, Wild Turtle 5-6-7, 1,024 DPM, 69%. So similar DPM, within 100 of each other. 10% difference in share though. FlyQuest won through those roles not mentioned. Mid lane, most definitely the Vikla Maple matchup must have been one-sided. 100 Thieves, TL, 100 Thieves, 19th in the power rankings, won the last time these two teams played. Roster changes, Someday is back with 100 Thieves. In terms of mid lane, Quid might be playing instead of Nuke Duck. Either way, it doesn't make a difference. Bjergsen's retired. And then, yeah, so that's the changes. So we're comparing jungle and bot lane. So, closer, double lift, Busio went 7-8-23, 1,505 DPM, which was 42%. Bjergsen out-damaged that by himself. It was one of the craziest DPMs I've ever seen at over 1,500 DPM in that win on a Victor. Pioshik, Yeon, and Core JJ went 5-9-13 in the loss, 936 DPM, so about 600 DPM less. 43%, so 600 DPM less. Damage share is the same. Not great. 100 Thieves really blew them out that time. NRG Immortals, last time these two teams played, I could have looked. I wonder if Immortals played in Season 6. Regardless, I should have looked. I didn't even think about it. So CLG won the last time they played Immortals. Obviously, CLG now defunct. NRG has swapped a couple players, as has Immortals. So the only roster spots that remain the same are the junglers, because NRG now have... IMT have Solo in top lane. Mid lane, IMT have Balulu, where it was a Blaze Olive last time. And then in the 80 carry role, FBI is playing for NRG, and support, both teams have new supports, as NRG have Ignar and IMT have Treats. So jungle is the only thing that's still the same. Contracts in the win went 5-1-12, 22% of damage, which is very different than Kenvi, who went 1-4 and 4 for 11%. So Contracts got a carry opportunity, and Kenvi was supposed to be a facilitator, is what I see there when it's a 22-11 damage share diffy. Lastly, Golden Guardians EG. Last time they played, Golden Guardians won 3-0 in the playoffs. A lot of things have changed for EG. Jojo Pune is the only person still on the team from that one. So, Gory, across from him, went 6-2-20 with only 14% of damage in the win. So, glorified support status in that one. Jojo Pune in the loss went 3-10-3 with 29%. So, Jojo, I think he led the team in damage in that 3-0 loss. In Gory, glorified support. So, that'll be interesting. A lot of roster moves in the LCS, so we have different looks to things going into summer. But yeah, so that's it for the roundup today. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.